Welcome back. I'm Dr. Cheek. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and today we're going to be talking about love. And yes, it's taken me some time to make this video because this video was just as complicated and complex as the actual emotion of love, for sure. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, love itself is a complex emotion of a deep affection or care for the well-being of something or someone that we consider a love object. Love also is a feeling of affection and caring and a desire for closeness to something or someone that we feel this emotion for. Now, there are different types of love. There is maternal love or parental love. So the love we get from our parents, whether that's a mother or a father, and the love that the children have for their parents or caregivers. There is familial love. So love we have for extended family members, whether those are cousins or grandparents or in-laws. There are companion loves. That's the love that we have for our friends, for our peers, for our groups, our clubs that we're involved in or that we are a part of an organization of. Then we have romantic love, and that's the love we have for an individual that we see forming a partnership with, someone that we are physically or mentally attracted to, someone that we may be sexually attracted to, that we bond over that attraction and have a level of love. Now, romantic love itself has other components that allows it to maintain or sustain over time that is not related to love. So we also have unconditional and conditional love. And simply put, conditional love is love that is given or demonstrated based on conditions or meeting certain conditions. So I love you, or I will show love to you if you do blank or because you do blank. And unconditional love is the opposite of condition. So I love you without reason. I love you without condition. Now, what unconditional love is not? Unconditional love is not unconditional disregard of problematic behaviors. Unconditional love is not holding others accountable that we love for poor behavioral choices and doing things that harm or hurt us. Unconditional love is not maintaining relationships that are toxic or problematic or harmful or hurtful to you. That's conditional versus unconditional love. So those are the different types of love. And there are multiple theories out there that kind of talk to what love is. So there is the attachment theory of love. There's also the triangular theory of love. And then there is the love versus liking. That's just a few of the many that are out there. So when we talk about love as an emotion versus an action versus a driver or psychological or physiological driver, then that's when we start to look at the research and see what people have said and research as it relates to love. For me, I maintain the stance that I had previously, even after the research I've done. Love is an emotion. Love is something that's an emotion that's innate. We have limited control over when we feel that emotion towards something or someone. So it actually happens without our knowledge. It's not something that we purposely do. So that, therefore, for me, it is not an action and it is not a driver, because our actions, our behaviors are learned. That is something that we choose to do about 99% of the time. Psychological or physiological drivers are those things that we need for survival and well-being. So like food, water, sex or procreation, a better way of putting it is procreation versus sex. So that's what we need for survival. If we don't eat, we'll die. If we don't drink, we'll die. If we don't procreate, the human race will die out. Because if we don't create new humans, we kind of go extinct. So those are those drivers that maintain our survival and our well-being. Some have said love is an action or behavior, and some have said love is a driver. I don't align with either of those because most of the research around love being anything other than emotion is looking at it as it pertains to romantic relationships. And like I said before, there are multiple types of love that exist outside of a romantic relationship. So in order for us to rely solely on romantic partnership or romantic love to define what love is like saying if there is no marriage between two people with children, then there is no family. A marriage does not define family no more than a romantic relationship defines love. So, because love is an emotion, like I previously said, we typically aren't able to control who we feel this love towards or who we have this emotion for. If we meet something or someone in the environment and they display the behaviors that we feel are examples of love for us, we'll feel that love towards them. Similar to if we are in a situation and someone is displaying behaviors that feel threatening or dangerous to us, we feel anxiety. If we're in a situation where someone is demonstrating or showing love to us in a way that we feel is loving, then we'll have those feelings towards them. So that love feeling is something that's innate, is inborn, is natural to all of us. We all have the ability to love something or someone. However, how we display our love or how we show our love is a learned behavior. And some people have learned very toxic ways of loving people or demonstrating love. We learn what love looks like from our experiences. So either our experiences with our parents or our experiences with our caregiver or any other person that we feel attached to in that way, or any other person that we feel we are able to trust, become those models of love for us. So whatever behaviors they display as it relates to love is what we tend to display ourselves when we have that same feeling of love. So behavior as it relates to, or actions as it relates to the feeling of love, is not innate. There is no, I love you, so I'm going to behave this way. Behavioral displays of love is different for everyone. And we have to determine what love looks like for each one of us. This is why love languages exist. And also, we have to be clear on what is not love, what is a demonstration of toxic love. So, undying devotion or jealousy, or those aren't behaviors that demonstrate love. We sometimes feel if someone's overly jealous of us, if someone doesn't want us to be around other people, that they really care about us. That's not necessarily love. So we have to be clear on what healthy love behaviors look like and what unhealthy love behaviors look like. They both exist. Also, we have to be really clear and conscious and aware of our ability to sometimes confuse love with loyalty. And we sometimes confuse love with commitment, and we sometimes confuse love with familiarity. So I want us to understand that in this human experience that we're having, chances are we can't control who we fall in love with, who we have those love feelings towards, because that's an innate feeling. If this person demonstrates behaviors that you feel demonstrates love for you or shows love for you, those feelings will come naturally. However, we do get to decide who we then get to show love to or make time and space for in our lives, because that's a behavior, that's an action, and that's a choice. Simply loving someone and simply being in love with someone does not mean that you have to have a relationship with this person. And I know that feels scary and uncomfortable for a lot of people, but love, like every other emotion, comes and goes and will fade over time if there is no environmental stimulus, or if there's no environmental stimuli keeping that emotion active and valid in your life. So love is an emotion that we demonstrate through action. It's not something that we necessarily need to survive. However, if we don't have love in life, whether it's from a parent, whether it's from extended family members, whether it's from peers, whether it's from romantic love interests, that life can sometimes seem or feel questionable whether it's worth continuing to invest in if we don't have those love relationships. But we don't necessarily need love to survive. It probably feels less like living and more like existing when those love relationships aren't present. So it is helpful for us to maintain a healthy life, to maintain our mental health, to feel like we have a life with purpose and a life worth living. But it's not a driver. It's not something that we necessarily need to survive. So again, I state my original point. Love is an emotion. That is something that we feel, and hopefully you get the chance one day to experience it unconditionally. I thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions, please jot them down below. I hope this has been helpful. If there's something you want me to make a video on specifically as it relates to love or anything else, please do not hesitate to ask below. I hope you've enjoyed this information. I thank you again for taking the time to listen. You have a wonderful day, and I'll be seeing you again soon.